Today, we are going to be talking about all the benefits niacinamide can bring to our face. Anti-aging, hyperpigmentation, how it can help you reduce the pore size, how it can help you if you've got dry skin, how it can help you if you've got oily skin, how it can help you if you've got acne, and how it's a very good anti-inflammatory ingredient. Towards the end of the video, I'm also going to give you some product recommendations. Let's get started. Let's start with hyperpigmentation and find out how niacinamide can help reduce the dark spots and even out our skin tone. In the skin, you've got certain type of cells called melanocytes. Inside these melanocytes are organelles, which are basically some packets and structures, organelles called melanosomes. Inside the melanosomes, a pigment called melanin is produced. Now, melanosomes gets transferred from melanocytes to keratinocytes. Now, keratinocytes are the cells which move up through the skin layers and reach the visible layer of the skin. Now let's assume that more than required amount of melanosomes gets transferred from melanocytes to keratinocytes. So when more melanocytes gets transferred to keratinocytes, keratinocytes ends up with an excess amount of melanin. Now melanin gives you a dark color. Now when these keratinocytes, which has got the excess melanin, moves to the visible layer of the skin, it comes out, it gives out some spots and makes the skin tone uneven. And the color of this uneven skin tone and the spots is dark because of the color of melanin. Now what niacinamide does is, it reduces the transfer of melanosomes to keratinocytes. That means keratinocytes don't end up with excess melanin. That means when these keratinocytes move up and reach the visible layer of the skin, they don't have any excess melanin and there is no dark spots and there is no uneven skin tone. So what niacinamide does, it basically is reducing the transfer of these melanosomes from melanocytes to keratinocytes and thus reducing the amount of melanin in keratinocytes. Now let's talk about how dry skin can be helped by niacinamide. In dry skin, there's a loss of moisture. Moisture evaporates easily from the skin into the environment. This happens because in dry skin, the skin's barrier function is not strong. What do I mean by that? The cells in the visible layer of the skin act as a barrier. These cells in the visible layer of the skin are arranged like bricks. Just like bricks are held together by the mortar in between the bricks, these cells are also held together by something called lipids and fats and oils and all that together holds these cells together. Now, in dry skin, this barrier is weak. It's weak because the mortar in between these cells is compromised. One of the main components of the mortar that's there in between these cells is ceramides. Now, how niacinamide can help us is, niacinamide boosts the production of ceramides. So if the amount of ceramides increases, these lipids, the mortar that's there in between the cells, increases, and that means the barrier becomes strong, and that means there is a huge reduction in the moisture loss, and that's how niacinamide helps dry skin. Another thing niacinamide does is, it regulates sebum production. Sebum is essentially the oil that we see on our skin. Now, in oily skin, an excess sebum is being produced. By regulating the sebum production, niacinamide can help if you've got oily skin because it's keeping that oil under check. The next thing niacinamide does is, it helps you if you've got inflammation on the skin. Redness accompanies inflammation. Now, what niacinamide does is, it reduces the redness and thus it helps you whenever the skin is inflamed. It's especially very useful and helpful for the redness that's caused by acne. Now let's talk about how niacinamide can help reduce the appearance of pores. Now, pores start in the deeper layers of the skin in a bowl-like shape, and then they gradually move into a tube-like structure, and then they open up on the visible layer of the skin. These pores, the bowl-like shape, is attached to all the oil glands, and these oil glands are pumping the oil into the pores, and the oil through the pores, it reaches the visible layer of the skin. When excess oil is being produced, load of oil gets pumped into this bowl-like shape, and this bowl-like shape puffs up, it enlarges. When that enlarges, the tube-like structure is also enlarging because there's so much oil now, and so the hole on the visible layer of the skin, the pore, it looks so big. Now, because niacinamide can regulate the production of the oil, regulate the production of the sebum, the excess oil, the excess sebum is not getting pumped in to the pore. And so the bowl-like shape is not enlarging anymore, and it's all in the right shape and size, and that reduces the appearance of pores. So the pores looks much smaller. Niacinamide helps with anti-aging in 3 ways. The first way is it boosts the production of collagen. With age, collagen amount in our body reduces. Collagen is what gives the skin its structure. As the amount of collagen reduces, skin starts to sag. Now, because niacinamide boosts the production of collagen, it increases the amount of collagen, which means it's a very good anti-aging ingredient. Now, the second way it can help us with anti-aging is because of its antioxidant properties. So what do we mean by that? When the skin is exposed to UV rays, pollution, or other environmental stresses, something called free radicals gets formed on the skin. Now, what these free radicals are, they're very nasty. They go and hurt, they go and destroy all the other good cells, and thus they age the skin. Now, what can keep these free radicals in check? An antioxidant can keep these free radicals in check. Antioxidants go and neutralize the free radicals, and niacinamide is a good antioxidant. So it goes and neutralizes these free radicals and thus reduces the aging of the skin, which is caused by free radicals. Now, the third way in which niacinamide can help is by reducing a process called glycation. So what is glycation? Now, glycation is a process in our body where the protein molecules, they go and attach themselves to the sugar molecules. Now, the protein molecules that we are concerned about is collagen. Collagen is a protein. Now, collagen goes and binds itself to the sugar molecule, and when it does that, the collagen becomes very firm, very hard, and because of this, the skin starts to sag. Collagen loses its property, and this firmness makes the skin sag. So what niacinamide does is it goes and reduces the process of glycation. Glycation also results in slight yellowish color on our skin. So by reducing this glycation process, it's keeping this collagen effective and thus reducing the sagginess of the skin. You know what else can reduce glycation? Eating less sweets. Now let's talk about how niacinamide can help you if you've got acne. Before I get into that, a very quick reminder, niacinamide is not an acne treatment ingredient. If you've got acne, niacinamide can help you with fixing some of the issues that come up when you have acne. It's good in addressing those concerns, but it's not the treatment for acne. Now, with that out of the way, let's get started. The first way it can help you with is if you've got acne, it's a breakout. Now, there's a lot of bacteria doing all the nasty stuff in there in the acne. Now, if the barrier function of the visible layer of the skin is not effective, if it is not good, the skin is going to get attacked by all the environmental nasties like pollution and bacteria and all the other environmental stresses. When these attack the skin, and if you've got acne on the skin, it's going to further aggravate the acne and make that healing process of the acne even longer. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that the barrier function of the visible layer of the skin is good. It's effective. It's strong. So we know niacinamide boosts the production of ceramides, and ceramides is one of the main components of that barrier. And so if there's more ceramide, that means the barrier is strong. By helping make that barrier strong, niacinamide makes sure that the skin is not getting attacked by other nasties, and thus it's giving this acne some time to heal. Now the second way is whenever there's acne, there's going to be inflammation, and with it comes redness. Now niacinamide is a good anti-inflammatory ingredient. It reduces the redness, especially the redness that's caused by acne. So that's how it helps us with the inflammation that's caused from acne. Now the third way is by reducing the post-inflammatory acne hyperpigmentation scars. So what do I mean by that? Whenever there's any kind of inflammation, acne, again an inflammation, the melanosomes, they get triggered and start producing more melanin. And when melanosomes with more melanin get transferred to keratinocytes, which are the skin cells, and these keratinocytes always move up and reach the visible layer of the skin, if they have more melanin, they're going to show up all that as dark spots because the color comes from melanin. So whenever there is any inflammation, more melanin is getting produced. What niacinamide does is it reduces the transfer of melanosomes into keratinocytes. So now it doesn't matter if more melanin is getting produced inside melanosomes, because you see they're not getting transferred as much to keratinocytes. The fourth way in which it can help is by regulating the sebum production. Now pores, they're bowl-like shape in the deeper layers of the skin. In it, the oil gets pumped. Now when there's excess amount of oil and then there are some dead cells and hair follicles, it attracts bacteria, and that's the start of how all these acne and pimples get formed. By regulating the sebum production, excess oil is not getting produced, and all that excess oil accumulating in the pores is gone. So regulating the sebum production is a way by which it's actually putting a stop to that acne formation. One of the myths is niacinamide can cause purging of the skin. If you're not sure what purging is, it basically looks like skin is peeling. Now, niacinamide does not cause any purging of the skin. If you're using a skincare product which has got niacinamide in it and your skin is purging, it could be because of one of the other ingredients in the product. Or it could be because the amount of niacinamide that's being used in that product is way high than it's supposed to be. Niacinamide is a good ingredient to use if you've got rosacea or if you've got eczema, because it's bringing all that moisture and retaining the skin's moisture. So what are the skincare products with niacinamide? You've got serums which have got niacinamide in it. In these serums, niacinamide is usually the active ingredient. And you've got moisturizers. A lot of moisturizers have niacinamide in them these days. Now moisturizers, the primary role of moisturizer is to retain that moisture in your skin. Make sure that the moisture that's there in the skin does not leave our skin. So having a niacinamide in a moisturizer is very effective. Now the third type of skincare product niacinamide is usually found in is in sunscreen. Now because niacinamide is a very good anti-inflammatory ingredient and a good antioxidant, it's used a lot in sunscreen products. Niacinamide does not cause many problems. It's friendly with a lot of ingredients, most ingredients. It's friendly with retinol. It can be used very effectively with retinol. It's very friendly with vitamin C too. There is some old data suggesting that niacinamide and vitamin C don't go well together. But these days, most of the skincare products are formulated to take that into effect, and so they're formulated well, and niacinamide goes well with a lot of vitamin C products. So there should be no problems in using niacinamide and vitamin C together. It goes well with azelaic acid. It goes well with most active ingredients. I'm going to leave some links to some products which I quite like and have got niacinamide in them. One is the Ordinary product, and then I've got an Inky List product, and then there is a Olay Regenerist product with niacinamide in it, and the CeraVe PM product is also quite good, and the Ulta MD sunscreen, I quite like that product which has got niacinamide in it. And Paula's Choice niacinamide product is also quite effective. So I'm going to leave links to all these products in the description below. If you have enjoyed this video, please give us a like and do subscribe to our channel.